First of all, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My name is Tensile and I'm a student from the University of Virginia. My presentation was performed in collaboration with Aerospace industry and National Technical University of Athens. I will first motivate, then explain the procedure and present the results, and finally conclude. Beginning with technological problems, aluminium alloys have the largest percentage of wide distribution of construction of an aircraft. As we can see, 2000 and 7000 are used mainly in the wings and on some structure of the cell, whereas Series 6000 6156 is used mainly in the fuselage. Aluminum alloy 6156 is characterized by good weldability, low density, and good resistant corrosion. This material is already used to the lower fuselage cell of Airbus 350, and because of good weldability, it makes it possible to replace the rivets in the fuselage. The tensile mechanical behavior the tensile mechanical behavior for various artificially aging specimens were examined in the literature. Here we can see the reference tensile specimens and with increasing of artificial aging. To sum up the results, the yield stress increases up to peak aging 40 and 48 hours, and then decreases. And the elongation of fracture has opposite trends. For that reason, we chose 4 different conditions to investigate the welding capability of the material. The technological need was lack of published articles and the effect of artificial aging before and after the welding. For the experimental procedure, we have 3 different cases. The first case, we weld under T4 condition. Other 6 were artificial aging before welding, and the remaining 6 were artificial aging post to the weld. Then we did the mechanical tests, and the results compared. For the electron welding, the seats were cleaned, were placed on a holding tool, and the welding was performed automatically. This slide depicts the geometry of the tensile specimens, and here we can see the machine tensile specimens with welding in the center of the gauge length. The mechanical tests took part to the National Technical University of Athens and with hydraulic testing machine. For the experimental results and hardness measurements, I want to thank the Helmholtz Zentrum Institute in Giscas. For the artificial aging specimens with heat treatment before the welding, as we can see, have same hardness values for both fusion zone and heat affected zone. And the higher hardness values for both for the base metal was 28 hours and peak aging. On the other hand, the specimens with artificial aging post to the weld, the fusion zone and heat affected zone depends on the artificial aging conditions. And again, the higher hardness values were noticed at 28 hours. For the typical tensile specimens, artificial aging specimens without welding, and the elongation of fracture was reduced from 25 to 12%, and the ultimate tensile strength was around 380 megapascal and 28 hours. The specimens with artificial aging before welding, the ultimate tensile strength was around 230 megapascal, and the elongation of fracture increases from 5 to 7%. Comparing the specimens with and without welding, there is an obvious decrease in ultimate tensile strength, as well as an elongation of fracture. Here we can see again the specimens without welding, and with the specimens with artificial aging post to the weld, For short artificial periods, an increase in strength is accompanied by high ductility values, while for longer periods, an essential decrease in elongation of fracture. To sum up the results for the conventional yield stress, the specimens without welding increased up to 28 hours. The T4 conditions decreases 100 megapascal due to the weld. The yield stress decreases slightly for the specimens without, with artificial aging before welding. And the specimens exposed to the weld have similar behavior with the samples without welding. The main reason for the yield stress change with artificial aging is the precipitation of beta type and second phase, and especially because of geometry, quantity, and size that varies according to the different conditions. For the ultimate tensile strength with artificial aging, for the specimens without welding, the ultimate tensile strength increases. And again, the T4 conditions decrease 130 megapascal. Specimens with artificial aging before show relatively stable results, and post to the weld have again similar behavior with the specimens without welding. For elongation of structure, an essential decrease for specimens without welding is noticed from 26 to 12%. The T4 condition shows a decrease about 22%. Elongation structure increases up to 6% for specimens before welding, and the specimens with artificial aging post to the weld process show a small decrease. Now I will present you the fracture toughness results. The specimens without welding present essentially high peak loads with artificial aging increasing. And on the other hand, the specimens with artificial aging before the welding seems to have almost the same maximum loads. Again, we can see the results from specimens without welding. And for the specimens post to the weld, the COD to peak load is essentially lower than the reference specimen. Compared these two, increasing of maximum load and decrease of COD for the maximum load has observed. Some of the critical stress and the results of fracture toughness, the specimens without welding have a small decrease. The T4 condition have 30% degradation due to the weld. For before the welding, a peak is observed for 4 hours, and the specimens post to the weld have an essential decrease. For the analysis of the results, here we can see the comparison of tensile mechanical properties. Green is before the welding, and there are several combinations of strength and ductility that fluctuate around 50% decrease. And post to the weld, the elongation at structure seems to be maintained while the yield stress is increased. It is the designer's decision to choose the best desired combination of mechanical properties for each individual case. For toughness and ductility, here we can see the critical stress and the elongation of structure. The specimens with artificial aging before welding, the best combination seems to be at 4 hours. And the specimens with post to the weld process, both properties are decreased. To conclude, a 35 decrease in yield stress and 85% in the elongation of structure is noticed. We carried out the artificial aging heat treatment before the welding process, a small improvement in ductility is observed. And post to the welding process increases the yield stress significantly on the expense of ductility, and the critical stress decreases due to the welding process. And artificial aging for short periods of time before the welding process give the highest critical stress values. Thank you very much.